Can you even imagine that? You write some of the most legendary rock songs ever. You create a sound that defines an era, and then you get dragged into a courtroom and accused of ripping yourself off. It sounds insane, right? Well, today we're diving into the truly unbelievable story of John Fogerty, the voice of Creedence Clearwater Revival, and his fight, his decades-long battle, to literally own his own sound. All right, so let's just jump right into the most absurd part of this whole saga, the lawsuit. This is where things get really weird, where a legal fight basically turned the whole idea of what it means to be an artist completely upside down. I mean, that's the central question, isn't it? It sounds like the setup to a bad joke. But for John Fogerty, this was no joke. This was a nightmare that lasted for years. So let's actually unpack how an artist's signature, the very thing that makes them unique, could be turned into a weapon and used against them. And when you hear it in Fogerty's own words, you can just feel the pain behind how ridiculous it all sounds. He's making it crystal clear, you know? While we might chuckle at the idea, the reality for him was absolutely terrifying. This was a serious attempt by his old label owner, a guy named Saul Zaentz, to control not just his music, but his entire future. And look, the stakes here were astronomical. We're not talking about a small claims court case. Zaentz sued Fogerty for $144 million. The claim that his big 1985 comeback hit, The Old Man Down the Road, was a ripoff of the Creedence's song Run Through the Jungle, a song that John Fogerty himself wrote. It's just mind-boggling. But here's the thing you have to understand to really get this lawsuit. It didn't just come out of nowhere. This wasn't some one-off crazy event. It was really the final straw, the breaking point, after years and years of dealing with a music industry system that, frankly, seemed built to chew up and spit out artists. And this timeline, it just paints such a grim picture. It's a pattern, right? Back in 1964, their label just decides to rename them the Gollywogs, a name with seriously racist roots, and they don't even tell the band. Then in the 70s, their entire life savings, poof, gone. It all leads up to that insane lawsuit in 1985. You see it, right? It's a clear pattern of total disrespect and control. And this story about their money, it just gets wilder. So their record company convinces them to get into this offshore tax plan. All their money goes into this place, Castle Bank and Trust. Then one day, the bank's president mysteriously dies, the bank collapses, and their money is just gone. And the kicker? Years later, it's revealed that the bank was actually a front for the CIA. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But here's where the story takes this incredibly powerful turn. All of this injustice, all of this rage at a system that just felt completely rigged, it didn't break him. No, it fueled him. It became the very thing that created some of the most powerful anthems in American music history. Just think about Fortunate Son. So Fogerty himself was a military veteran, and he's watching the news, seeing the sons of senators and millionaires getting out of the Vietnam War draft. He was furious. So he channels all that rage, sits down, and boom, the entire song comes pouring out of him in 20 minutes. And it became this timeless anthem for anyone, anywhere, who's ever felt like the deck was stacked against them. But his music wasn't always born from anger. Sometimes it came from just pure, explosive joy. The day John Fogerty got his honorable discharge papers from the Army, he was so happy, so relieved, that he literally did a cartwheel on his front lawn. He then ran inside, grabbed his guitar, and in about an hour, wrote Proud Mary. That lightning bolt of pure freedom is what created an absolute classic. So he finally fights his way back. He gets a #1 album. You'd think that's the happy ending, right? But success, it didn't bring him peace. In a strange way, it actually unleashed a whole new kind of storm inside him. I mean, the whiplash is right there in his music. His big comeback album in '85, Centerfield, is just joyful, it's triumphant. But the very next album he puts out, Eye of the Zombie, he himself says it's dark and bitter and just missed the point. You see, the success of his comeback, it didn't heal the old wounds. It actually ripped the scabs right off. And Fogerty had this incredibly powerful way of explaining it. He used this prison analogy. He said the success felt like being set free after being unjustly locked up, but once you're out, you can finally turn around and really see the prison for what it was. And that's when all the anger, all the bitterness from all those years of injustice just came flooding out. So how do you come back from that? How do you heal? For John Fogerty, it wasn't about getting another hit record. It was about something much deeper. It was about finding that joy that he had lost somewhere along the way. And the real turning point, the thing that changed everything, wasn't music. It was a person. It was meeting his wife, Julie. He was in a really bad place, caught in a spiral of anger and alcohol, and he's been very clear about it. He says she literally saved his life. She was the one who helped him find his way back, not just to making music, but back to being happy. And this right here is what brings the whole story full circle. After decades of fighting, John Fogerty finally owns the rights to his classic songs. And now he gets up on stage and performs those legendary anthems with his sons playing alongside him. He's not just playing his music anymore. He's sharing his legacy, a legacy he fought for and won with his family, in a band that's finally built on joy instead of conflict. You know, Fogerty's story is this epic rock and roll tale, but it leaves us with a question that really any creative person has to face. After all of it, the lawsuits, the lost money, the fight to even sound like yourself, what really is the true price of artistic integrity? And it makes you think, how far would you go to protect your own voice?